Right, I need to talk about some of the travel headlines this week because some of them are really winding me up. I'm Rob, I work in travel, and since everything happened in the Middle East, I've seen every single day what's happening with bookings, with flights, and with holidays on the ground. So when the headlines start making people panic about their holidays, when the reality is completely different, it really does my head in. The first one I want to talk about is this headline about the UK Foreign Office's Do Not Travel list, and it lumps together places like Turkey, Cyprus, and Egypt. Now look, to be fair, the advice on the UAE has changed. The UK government is now saying avoid travel there unless it's essential. But then the article kind of piggybacks Turkey, Cyprus, and Egypt into the same story, which makes it sound like something new has happened, but it hasn't. The advice about areas of Turkey near the Syrian border has been in place for about 10 years. And that little strip where the advice is in place is nowhere near the places that Brits actually go, like Antalya or Dalaman. And Egypt tells a similar story. The advice about the North Sinai area has been in place for years, and it's nowhere near the Red Sea resorts like Hurghada and Sharm. Which brings me to Cyprus. The update there was simply acknowledging the wider situation in the region. So when you see headlines saying that there's a new do not travel list or a new situation for these destinations, it's simply not true. Then there's this headline saying that 37 flights were cancelled at Larnaca Airport in Cyprus, which if you've got a holiday there sounds really dramatic when you read it. But when you read the article properly, the flights that were cancelled from Cyprus were actually to and from the Middle East, not UK holiday flights. But they know what they're doing here because EasyJet did cancel a few flights to Cyprus last week. But what you might not know is that was just for one day. The very next day, everything went back to normal. And they've stayed that way since. The reality is that flights get cancelled all the time because of weather or airspace issues or just operational stuff. But right now, flights from the UK to Cyprus are running as normal. Hotels are open, resorts are busy, holidays are happening. And then there's this one that says that UK tourists are cancelling their Turkey and Cyprus holidays and choosing Spain instead. This one annoyed me the most. Because firstly, that's just not what I'm seeing. And secondly, it's not even that simple. If flights are still running and hotels are open, which they are, you generally can't just cancel a package holiday and get a full refund. Refunds like this only normally apply when the travel guidance actually changes with the British government, which in this case, it hasn't. And the best bit for me, the article actually quotes Simon Calder, saying the chance of anything happening to a tourist in Turkey or Cyprus is microscopically low. Which is probably the most important line in the whole thing, maybe lead with that. And look, here's the reality from inside the travel industry. We've got loads of on-the-beach customers heading to Turkey, Cyprus and Egypt on holiday as normal. Thousands are already there having a great time. And hundreds more flew out today or in the last few days. Because the flights are running, the hotels are open, and the resorts are full of holidaymakers. So look, I run a social media account. I get that headlines need to grab attention. But when they make people feel unnecessarily worried about their holidays, it's really frustrating. Because the reality on the ground is that these resorts are operating completely as normal. So if you are seeing headlines like this and starting to panic about your holiday, just remember, the people who are actually there right now are mostly just trying to decide what to have from the buffet.